guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It only takes a couple seconds. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Let me just say in advance, I apologize if I butcher anything. I am going to have a lot of issues pronouncing a lot of words, but I'm going to try my best, okay? The Enyobeni Tavern is a 2-story building that's located in Scenery Park, East London, Eastern Cape, in a densely populated area. The locals that do live near the tavern have complained that it stays open past legal hours and serves to underage people. Being that the legal drinking age in South Africa is 18, we're talking about very young children here. Okay? June 26, 2022. 21 people, 9 girls and 12 boys between the ages of 13 and 17 died while partying at the tavern. The teens, who were not of legal drinking age, were at the tavern celebrating Pens Down, which is a tradition in South Africa that celebrates the end of school exams. All right, fair, that's cool. Initial reports suggested that it was a crowd crush, but this theory would be disputed later on. I got severe Astroworld vibes during this. Like, I truly felt like they were trying to, like, they heard about Astroworld and that's what they were trying to go with. You'll say. The owner of the bar and his wife were not present that evening, but he said in a statement that he received calls from security at 1 o'clock in the morning, telling him that people were attempting to force their way through a gate outside the tavern. The entertainment manager stated that there was not enough manpower present that evening to deal with the overcrowding, going on to say that patrons were forcing their way in and people were falling all over while bouncers were trying to gain control of this situation. Video surveillance of the tavern prior to the tragedy show that it was packed with young people, and many of them looked to be underage. A 17-year-old patron said that when the venue became overcrowded, bouncers were trying to get people to leave, but it was unsuccessful. And at one point, a security guard sprayed something into the air that smelled like gas, and it began restricting people's ability to breathe. An 11th grader, 11th grade, says that he was robbed while being trapped under other victims. Another 17-year-old stated that while he was sitting there with friends, someone sprayed pepper spray, and the friends all ran out. They went to another bar, and when they returned to the tavern later on, the bouncer told them that they couldn't come in because it was too packed inside. A 19-year-old witness said that they were trying to move through the crowd, shouting, "Please let us through," going on to say that others were shouting, "We are dying, guys, and we are suffocating." She also recalled a strong smell in the air before passing out. At 4 o'clock in the morning, a call was placed by a witness that there were multiple deaths inside of the tavern. 17 of the victims were found on the dance floor, chairs, couches, and tables. 2 of the victims died at the local clinic, and the last 2 died on their way to the hospital. Okay, so before we talk about the conflicting evidence, Let's talk about the victims really quick. All right. Again, I apologize if I butcher anything. I probably will. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm going to. Them bin Silwain. The 13-year-old was the youngest in his family. His last words to his mother before he left that night was, "I'm coming back, Mama."
I am coming back, Mama.
The last words the 13-year-old Tembinkosi Silwane spoke to his mother, but he never returned. The pain of his death etched on faces of his loved ones.
No matter what happens, I will never find closure. Nothing will bring my son back. He was just like other children. He made mistakes, but we didn't expect this to happen.
Oveo Mateis would have turned 15 years old the day before his burial. He attended Lemco High School, and his hobbies included playing soccer and watching rugby. Sikolela Shamis was a quiet 15-year-old who's described as respectful and helpful around the house. Lalitha Mathuko. She would have turned 17 the day before her funeral. She told her mother that she wanted 2 cakes to celebrate her birthday, but tragically that never happened. Inamandla Weksu was described as a brilliant learner. When his parents questioned him about his recent exam, he replied to them, "You know I never fail." Azizifo Zilindel. Oh, these are so bad. I'm so bad. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Is described as patient. He loved children, and his teacher called him a gentle spirit. Okay. Lungil Bakiso. The 16-year-old lived in Scenery Park and liked playing soccer with his friends. Lathemba Vilafi. The 20-year-old was looking forward to studying tourism management at Buffalo City College. Oh, God. Ovena Goloi was a popular girl at school. One of her friends wrote on her Facebook page, "Greet those in the house who have left us, and please be our star when we go out at night." Esinako Zanarana. This 17-year-old had dreams of becoming a lawyer.
The kids were really suffocating. They cried, they tried calling. Others tried biting each other just to check if the others were still alive, because we saw that kids are dying inside.
I want justice for my little sister.
I was there too, inside. I was suffocated with them. But I was helped by another kid who was standing in front of me that was pulled out by his friends and then tried pulling out other kids. He never left just because he was safe. No, he didn't. He pulled out kids, and mostly he pulled out dead children over there. When I woke up in the morning, I went to the driver that took us there and asked, because he went back there to check if other kids are safe, is the kids that he can save. So he went back there. When he came back with the results, he told me, "No, she's not alive. Even your friend is not alive." My friend got lucky. She did go to hospital, but my cousin didn't make it to hospital, so they didn't even send her to our hospital. Wait, we're trying to sprinkle the people in front of us with water so the line may move. It wasn't working. Nobody couldn't go anywhere. The only person that had space to move was the bouncer on the gate that didn't want us to get out.
Alencito Monella. This 17-year-old was a talented artist who drew portraits of his family and people in the community. Simili Bolsiki was a hard worker and known in the community as always looking neat and tidy. Okay. Sinodendo Gangala went to high school and enjoyed spending time with friends.
We have a child that was there who passed away on the scene. That's the information that we have. This child we were not thinking would die this way. This was a humble child, respectful, and he listened. But as we know, kids will always be kids. From the information we have, he was with one of his friends and they'd attended a function after their exams and had finished at school. They hired a car and went to that place. He was 17, turning 18 in November. We are very sad indeed. We are unemployed and we don't even know where to start. His father here is not even well. We are parents who don't know what to do.
Nathi Goza? The 17-year-old had ambitions of becoming an actress and competing in the idols competitions. Simam Kiel Sobetwa? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know these are wrong. The 17-year-old was popular among her family and friends. Kunjintindo Zima? The 12th grader had a passion for mathematics. Inathi Kani? The 18-year-old was the youngest in her family. She was described as being kind and having big dreams. Bulelo Ringo? The 18-year-old was a smart dresser and deeply loved by his family. Sandanath Malakalaka? Might have gotten that one, I don't know. Was a 9th grader who was described as a beautiful flower with a lovely smile. Asamkil Thukuf was a high school student. Banguitho Kandana? The 12th grader had dreams of becoming a policewoman. An immediate investigation was opened following the incident at the tavern. Despite the CCTV footage that was provided from that evening, the theory of a stampede being the cause of death was slightly ruled out at this point because there were no visible injuries on the victims. Rather, investigators believed that the deaths were caused by some type of poisoning that was either inhaled or ingested by the victims. These beliefs were made stronger when witnesses went to speak to police and fainted on the way, with one of them being a victim that later died on the way to the hospital. This tells detectives that what they consumed was still remained in their body. June 28th, 2022. Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality said it would provide grave sites free of charge for the victims, and a local funeral parlor pledged to donate coffins, transportation, and to assist with burials, which is really nice. June 29th, 2022. The government confirms that all autopsies have been completed on all victims and samples were sent to a lab for further testing. Investigators reported that carbon monoxide poisoning from a petrol generator that was operating in the tavern after a power outage in the area was not the cause of death. June 30th, 2022. Police allowed the tavern owner and his wife to tour the bar and to take large quantities of alcohol from the premises to their home with them. That is such a big deal. It's a big deal. And you'll find out why. July 6, 2022, an Eastern Cape Department of Health official stated that the theory of a stampede being the cause has completely been ruled out.
Samples that were taken in the previous days, leading up to today, was taken to Pretoria to forensics there. Some of these experts were telling me. I want to take you upstairs, Sally, just to get a better picture of maybe what was happening. We just took you downstairs where you can see it was actually hardly difficult to move. This, we are told, is the VIP area, Sally, where we are told people had to wear black in order to come into this section. Some of these windows are where these children were jumping from. In fact, my colleague now walking inside what we know is the VIP area. This is where it was safer, we understand, from the patrons that we've been speaking to. In fact, we spoke to some 7 teenagers that were here on the day of the events. 4 of them ended up in hospital, 1 needing ventilators. He says he was trying to make his way up to this VIP area. He says that there was some sort of security personnel who had dreadlocks, a female lady, in fact, that upon them trying to get upstairs here, sprayed them with some sort of chemical which made them dizzy. And as they made their way down, he even wanted to be sleepy, but luckily he was able to get out inside. What I'm really noticing, Sally, is that there's only one entrance, the one that you saw a bit earlier on. So it would even talk about how these teenagers were trying to go outside. You can see the liquor bottles that are still strewn all over the floor here. What is left now from, you can expect that the investigators were just combing through, taking the DNA samples, taking even whatever samples of alcohol that was here and the food that was here. Now we understand that's been taken to Pretoria for a further lab test. But whatever blood samples were here and the autopsy results are in Cape Town to the toxicology lab there, Sally, as we give you an insight of Enyobeni Tavern and what it looks like inside here.
As it should be. That night, thousands attend a mass funeral service for the 21 victims. President Ramaphosa and other dignitaries speak at the gathering. And even though there were 21 coffins present, 19 of them were empty because the families chose to have their own private burial instead. The Economic Freedom Fighters Party would later criticize the government for holding a fake funeral with empty coffins against the wishes of the family. I didn't see it that way. I did not see it as something disrespectful whatsoever. If anything, I saw it as a symbolic way to honor all 21 victims that died that night. Because, to me, to only have 2 full coffins there would mean that only 2 of the victims were being remembered. So I didn't see it as a fake funeral. I didn't see it as anything disrespectful. I saw it as a symbolic way to remember everybody. But I don't know. If you guys disagree, let me know. Sunday, July 10th, 2022, the last victim is laid to rest. July 19th, 2022. It is reported that alcohol poisoning and carbon monoxide poisoning have also been ruled out as causes. Doctors report finding methanol in all 21 victims. Methanol, or wood alcohol, is a liquid that is deliberately and illegally added to alcoholic beverages as a cheaper alternative to ethanol, which is normal to alcohol and okay to consume, as long as you don't overdo it, obviously. 2 to 8 ounces of methanol can be deadly for an adult. Blindness is often common and permanent in methanol consumption, and it's often permanent despite receiving medical care. Following the tragedy, the Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality found the tavern to be built illegally. The city has not received any land use application, nor has it granted the tavern to be operating at this location. The Eastern Cape Liquor Board has said that it plans to file criminal charges against the owners of the tavern and to revoke their liquor license. As it should, right? Shortly after, the owners and 2 employees were arrested for selling alcohol to minors. The owner and her husband were charged with selling or supplying of liquor to minors and allowing their employees to do so as well. Selling alcohol to underage children is not reserved for the Enyobeni Tavern. And in fact, many taverns around those areas openly sell to underage children. It's become a serious issue in South Africa, and harsher laws need to be enforced before there are more tragedies. I don't think that you're responsible enough to drink at 18, even though I did. I'm not saying I'm right, but I did. I probably wasn't responsible enough either at 18. But 13 years old? September 2022. After months of waiting for answers, the families of 21 victims all got together to hear what the official cause of death was and to finally, what they believed was going to be their chance to get justice. They would end up being completely blindsided when they're told the official cause of death was suffocation due to friction caused by dancing in a crowded bar. Suffocation due to friction from dancing in a crowded bar. I can't even imagine the outrage they must have felt by this, especially because suffocation was ruled out completely because they had no marks on them at all. This is such a huge injustice to these families. This makes me sick. This is a huge injustice to them. The parents of 17-year-old Bangolethu said, "We don't trust this conclusion. We are not happy about the way authorities have handled it. We hope that they will call some of these survivors to testify about what really happened." A research scientist that specializes in crowds at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development said, quote, "People can indeed die of suffocation in crowded places." Astroworld. However, it must be really crowded. About 7 people per square meter. The bodies are so densely packed that individuals cannot breathe anymore. They often faint and suffocate. I don't know if the density reached that threshold in this tragedy. End quote. All right. The owners of the bar were arrested, and outside of a court appearance, they said to reporters, they told reporters, "Apologize for what? What have I done wrong? We did not kill those children. We don't owe anyone an apology." Oh my God. You dumb, twisted twits. I want to say much worse things. You dumb, twisted twits. Even if you truly believe that, it happened in your bar. It happened in your bar. Even if you think that it happened because of overcrowding, it happened in your bar. You're ultimately responsible. Garbage. That's garbage. The owner then instructed her husband not to entertain further questions. She's a bitch. She's a bitch. Do not answer him. We have nothing further to say. Cold-hearted, selfish bitch. You're a bitch. Sorry. The couple are currently out on a warning. They face charges of contravening the Liquor Act for allegedly selling liquor to underage children. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you. I appreciate you so very much. Please leave me a like and a comment. Please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. If you have any case suggestions, email me, harding527@yahoo.com. I know I've been a little lacking on that. It's just that we're back to school and it gets harder. But I'm trying my best, I promise you guys. So email me. Because even if I can't get to it right away, I'll save it to go back to it. So, that's it. And with that, stay safe out there.